Libra, there is someone who thinks about you in the quiet moments, not just when something reminds them of you, though that happens constantly in ways they have stopped trying to manage, but in the moments when nothing is happening at all, in the space between one thought and the next, in the stillness before sleep, in the first unguarded seconds of waking before the day assembles itself, and they remember they are supposed to be holding something back. They are not holding it back anymore, or they are trying to, but it is no longer working, and that the failing of the attempt to contain what they feel is what has brought us to this moment. Something has broken open in this person, something that was carefully managed, deliberately kept at a certain temperature, consciously controlled for reasons that made sense at the time it has broken open. And what is spilling out of that opening is something so large, so genuinely overwhelming to them that they are standing in the middle of it right now, not quite knowing what to do with themselves. What they feel for you is not a small thing. I want you to understand that before we go any further. This is not infatuation, though there is wonder in it. This is not convenience, though you have been present in their life in ways that made everything easier. This is not the comfortable warmth of familiarity, though they know you, really know you in ways that still catch them off guard sometimes. The sudden realization of how deeply another person has become woven into the fabric of how they experience the world. What this person feels for you is the kind of feeling that reorganizes someone from the inside. The kind that makes them look at their own life and see it differently because you are in it. The kind that arrived not with a dramatic announcement, but quietly, gradually, and then all at once, the way floods begin as rain and become something that changes the landscape permanently. They are in love with you. And the weight of that sentence, for them, is enormous. Because this is not someone who says those words easily. This is not someone for whom love is a casual declaration or a social performance. If you know this person and somewhere in the reading of these words, you are already feeling who this is, the way your body responds to certain truths before your mind has finished processing them, you know that they are someone who holds their depth carefully, who does not expose the interior of themselves without real cause, who has learned through their own particular history of loving and being let down, or loving and feeling unseen, or loving and watching it not be enough, that the most vulnerable thing a person can do is let someone know the full magnitude of what they feel, because once it is known, it cannot be unknown. And that is terrifying in a way that only someone who has genuinely loved and genuinely lost can fully appreciate. But they are reaching the point where the fear of your not knowing is beginning to outweigh the fear of your knowing. Where carrying this alone has become heavier than the risk of setting it down between you and seeing what you do with it. Where the silence, the careful, self-protective, reasonable silence they have been keeping has started to feel like a kind of dishonesty, like they are walking around with something that belongs to you and not giving it to you. And that feeling for someone with this depth of integrity has become unbearable. So something is coming. A moment of truth is approaching in this connection that is going to change its nature. Not subtly, not in a way that you can look at afterward and wonder whether it was significant. In a way that is unmistakable, a declaration, an admission, a revelation of feeling that has been building for longer than either of you may have consciously realized. And when it arrives, it is going to ask something of you. Not a grand gesture, not an immediate, fully formed response, just your willingness to be present with the truth of what is being offered, to receive it without deflecting, to let it land. Let me tell you more about what this person has been holding, because it is richer and more layered than a simple declaration of love, however profound that declaration is. What they feel for you has depth that goes beyond the romantic, though the romantic is certainly present and is certainly real. What they feel is something closer to recognition. The experience of encountering someone who makes the world make more sense, not because you simplify anything, because you don't. You are complex and interesting and occasionally difficult in the most compelling ways, but because your presence in the world feels necessary, like something was missing from the landscape of their life before you were in it, and they didn't have a name for the missing thing, and now they do. The name is you. They think about the specific things, not the general impression of you, though that is beautiful to them too, but the specific things. The way you speak when you are saying something you actually mean versus when you are being social, they know the difference. They have always known the difference from very early in knowing you, and that knowing that ability to read you in a way that still surprises even them is one of the things they find most breathtaking about what exists between you. The fact that you became legible to them so quickly. The fact that they understand you in places where you have not always been understood. The fact that when you are in a room together, they are aware of you in a way that has nothing to do with proximity and everything to do with the particular attunement that develops between two people whose frequencies are genuinely, mysteriously compatible. They notice when something is bothering you before you have said anything. They notice the micro expressions, the slight shift in your energy when something has happened that you are managing internally. And every time they notice, they feel two things simultaneously. A tenderness so acute it is almost painful, and a fierce, quiet desire to be the person you turn to, not the person you perform okayness for. The person you actually tell, the person with whom the performance can stop and the real conversation can begin. They want to be that for you. They have wanted it for a long time. And the wanting has grown into something they can no longer classify as just caring about a friend, or just being invested in someone they know, or just feeling warmly toward a person who has become important to them. It is love. Clear, specific, undeniable love. And they are done pretending otherwise, at least to themselves. There is a tenderness in how they think about your past, the things you have shared with them about where you came from, what you have been through, what shaped you into the person you are now. They do not hold any of it against you. None of the complicated parts, none of the seasons you are not proud of. None of the ways you have been less than your best self in moments of pain or fear or simply human limitation. They hold all of it with something that can only be described as reverence, the specific reverence of someone who understands that the difficult parts of a person's story are not blemishes on who they are, but the very material from which their depth was built. And your depth is one of the things they love most. The fact that you are not simple, the fact that knowing you is not a static experience but a continuing one, that there are still things to discover, still layers to reach, still conversations that go somewhere unexpected and leave them thinking for days afterward. They are not afraid of your depth. This is important. There may have been people in your life who found the full reality of you slightly too much, too feeling, too complex, too unwilling to stay at the surface where things are manageable. This person is not that. This person finds your depth to be the most compelling thing about you. They would rather have one real conversation with you than 100 easy ones. They would rather sit in your actual presence with all of its complexity and texture and emotional honesty than in the company of someone 10 times more conventionally agreeable. You are the one they want to be around, always. In the ordinary moments, especially not just the meaningful occasions or the celebratory ones, but the unremarkable Tuesday afternoons, the quiet evenings, the mundane logistics of a shared life. They catch themselves imagining those, the ordinary dailiness of being near you. And the imagining of something so simple makes them feel something so profound that they have had to sit with the enormity of it alone, turning it over carefully, the way you handle something precious that you don't yet know what to do with. They have also been watching how you move through difficulty, how you handle the things that are hard, and some things have been hard for you recently, or have been hard for you in ways that are ongoing. And this person has been aware of that, even when you haven't said much about it. They have watched how you carry things, how you maintain your grace under pressure, how you keep showing up even when showing up costs you something, and what watching you has done, the quiet, sustained witnessing of who you actually are when life is not easy, is deepen what they feel for you in a way that goes beyond anything they anticipated. Because it is easy to feel drawn to someone in their bright moments. It is the awareness of someone's strength in their difficult ones that creates the kind of love that lasts. What they feel for you is the kind that lasts. And this is where I want to slow down for a moment, because what is about to happen between you and this person is not just a romantic development, as significant as that is. It is a threshold, a genuine before and after in the story of your life. Because when someone loves you the way this person loves you, with this quality of attention, this depth of recognition, this specific and unwavering choice of you, and when that love is finally spoken out loud and allowed to exist in the space between you, something changes. Something that cannot be unchanged. The question that is living quietly at the center of this moment, the one you may already be feeling as you absorb all of this, is what you feel. And I am not going to tell you what to feel, because that is entirely yours. But I want to ask you to be honest with yourself in a way that you may not have fully allowed yet. Because sometimes, when we have been holding a feeling about someone carefully, when we have been managing our own awareness of what they mean to us, keeping it at a distance that feels safer, telling ourselves it is probably not what it seems, or probably not the right time, or probably not something we should trust. Sometimes we need permission to put down the management and simply know. You already know something. Your body already knows something. The particular quality of attention you give to this person, the way a message from them lands differently than a message from others, the way their presence in a room changes the temperature of your awareness, the way certain conversations with them have stayed with you long past the moment they ended, that is information. Real information. The kind that lives below the level of deliberation and analysis and all the very reasonable reasons you may have assembled for keeping a careful distance. What would it mean to stop keeping that distance? What would it mean to let yourself know what you know and feel what you feel without immediately measuring it against all the possible ways it could go wrong? What would it mean to receive this love, this genuine, deep, specifically you-directed love, not from a place of caution, but from a place of openness, from the place in you that has always wanted exactly this, even when wanting it felt like too much of a risk? Because the love this person is about to bring fully into the light deserves to be met with the real you, not the careful you, not the managed, self-protected reasons to wait you, the real one, the one who has been longing in whatever quiet and private way is characteristic of you for something that feels exactly like this, safe in its depth, real in its recognition, chosen in the full, deliberate, with complete information way that is the only kind of being chosen that ever truly satisfies. There is a conversation that needs to happen. Perhaps it is a conversation you have been circling for a while, getting close to it and then pulling back, finding reasons to delay, telling yourself the timing isn't right, the timing is right. It has been right for longer than you have been willing to admit. And what is happening right now in the energetic landscape of this connection is that the space between you and the truth of this situation is collapsing. The distance you have both, in your own ways, been maintaining is becoming untenable. Something is going to give. Something is going to open. And when it does, what flows through that opening has the potential to be one of the most meaningful things that has ever entered your life. Let it in. I know that vulnerability is not a simple thing. I know that there are histories, yours and theirs, that have left their marks on how both of you approach the risk of loving fully. I know that wanting something this much can feel like standing on the edge of something you could fall from. But I also know this. The love that is being offered to you by this person is not careless with you. It is not impulsive or conditional or designed to serve their needs at the cost of yours. It is the careful, considered, fully intentional love of someone who has thought about you long enough and deeply enough to know that what they feel is real, who has tested it against their own doubts and fears and still arrived at the same answer every single time. The answer is you. It has always been you, and some part of you, the part that already knows everything I have been saying before I finish saying it, has always known that too. So when the moment comes, and it is coming, be there for it. Be present in it without the armor, and without the performance, and without the very understandable but no longer necessary habit of protecting yourself from something that is not a threat. Let yourself be seen, seeing them back. Let the knowing between you become spoken. Let the love that has been living in the subtext of every interaction you have shared step into the text, into the clear, open, undeniable foreground of your connection, where it belongs. Because what exists between you is not a small thing that needs to be handled carefully lest it break. It is an extraordinarily durable thing, durable because it is built on the foundation of actually knowing each other, of genuine recognition, of a specific and mutual quality of attention that does not come along often in a life. It is the kind of connection that does not break when it is fully exposed to the air. It is the kind that gets stronger. You deserve to know what it feels like when someone loves you like this, not in theory, not in the abstract. In the actual, lived, daily experience of being someone's person, the one they reach for, the one they think of first, the one whose well-being is woven into the fabric of their own. You deserve the mornings of it, and the difficult evenings of it, and the ordinary, unremarkable stretches of it that end up being the most precious parts of all. You deserve to be loved with this quality of attention and this depth of recognition by someone who chose you, not because you were available or convenient or familiar, but because knowing you, really knowing you, made choosing anyone else feel impossible. That is what is standing at the door of your life right now. And all you have to do is open it